Every Thursday, the ammo showed up like clockwork, pallets stacked clean, labels faced out, zero discrepancies. Whoever handled logistics on the supplier's side had a better record than most junior staff inside the base. But the paperwork was always unsigned. Just a faded clipboard with a line. Delivered, Range Bay 3. Initials HR. Nobody paid attention. Until the man showed up in person. He drove an old navy blue pickup. No decals, no base pass. But somehow rolled through the front gate like security had known him since forever. He didn't wear a uniform. Just gray work pants, black boots, and a plain t-shirt tucked too neatly to be casual. On his belt, a folding knife with scratches in the clip. On his wrist, a dark watch with no numbers. And in his walk, no wasted steps. The recruits barely noticed him. Why would they? He unloaded the crates himself. No forklift, no help. Moved like a man who still knew the weight of a 5.56 case before he lifted it. The only odd thing? He never spoke, just stacked. Nodded. Left. The instructors didn't stop him, didn't question. One time, Drenner walked right by him, muttered something under his breath, and gave the faintest nod, the kind you don't fake. That caught Morales' eye. The guy wasn't just crew. There was something different in the way he watched the range, not with curiosity, but with calculation. He'd pause, just for a second, after setting the final case down. Eyes downrange. No movement. As if he was still measuring wind with his skin. Still thinking in click values. Still there. One Thursday, as Morales was stowing his gear, he saw it up close. The old man knelt to adjust the crate, and his shirt rolled up just enough to reveal the edge of an old tattoo above his hip. A trident, faded. Not decorative. Earned. Morales froze. He didn't say anything. But that was the moment he stopped calling him delivery guy in his head. From that point on, he called him something else. Shooter. Even if no one else saw it yet. The teasing started as soon as the old man turned his back. One of the new guys, Rafferty, loud, first cycle sharpshooter, clapped dust off his gloves and nodded toward the ammo crates. Bet he's never even fired one of these, he said, nudging a box with his boot. Another chimed in. Yeah, maybe back when scopes still fogged from the inside. Laughter. Nothing cruel, just that lazy, cocky energy that drifts into groups when the sun's hot and the drill instructor hasn't shown up yet. Morales didn't laugh. Neither did the old man. He didn't even slow down. He just slid the last crate into place, stood up with that same quiet economy of motion, and paused for a beat longer than usual, still facing downrange. Maybe we should let him take a shot, Rafferty said, too loud now. See if he remembers which end points forward. That's when Chief Drenner stepped out from behind the tower. Line it up, he said, voice flat. Rafferty blinked. Sir? You think it's funny, you better back it up. Range is yours. The laughter died quick. Morales watched as Rafferty stepped to the mat, still smiling but now thinner around the eyes. He dropped prone, rattled off 5 rounds at the 600-yard steel. 3 hits. 2 wide. Respectable. Not legendary. Chief nodded. Clear your lane. Then he looked at the old man, still standing there, hands loose at his sides. Want to turn? The man didn't answer. Didn't move. Then, slowly, he walked toward the rack. Didn't pick up a rifle. He reached into the last crate, not for ammo, but for something buried beneath it. A hard case. Old. Locked with a strip of tape, not a clasp. No markings. He laid it flat on the mat. Opened it. Inside was a bolt-action rifle. Not military issue, customized. Worn stock. Barrel thread-capped. Scope dull from sun. Morales had seen it once before. In a photo. Old mission brief. Black and white. High-angle overwatch. The same rifle. The man chambered a round. No adjustment. No warm-up. One shot. Steel rang. Rafferty didn't say a word. Neither did the man. He cleared the chamber, shouldered the rifle, and walked off without a glance. Chief picked up the shell casing and turned it over in his fingers, then handed it to Morales. Etched on the base, nearly worn away. HR 6. 6 what? Morales asked softly. Drenner looked downrange, then up at the flag, then said, 6 you don't miss? Morales didn't sleep that night. Not from nerves, from need. Need to know who the hell that man really was. The trident tattoo. The rifle older than half the team. The way Chief had spoken, not with admiration, with distance, like remembering something cold. The base archives weren't locked. Not fully. He had admin access from his support rotation, requisitions, serial logs, training records. But deep in the back of the digital index, there was a section marked Sealed, Class 9B. Morales clicked. Nothing. But when he typed in HR and added the number from the casing, HR6, the system froze for half a second, then flashed a line of green text. File found, provisional access, view only. He opened it. One image. Black and white. Man on a rooftop. Dust storm in background. Bolt-action rifle across his lap. No helmet. No nameplate. Just one hand up to shield from sun. Caption. Overwatch. Unnamed. Operation Iron Gate. All Team Exfil except one. Morales scrolled. No full name. Just Harlan R. SEAL Team 4. Active 1982 to 2003. Removed from public commendation list by request. A sentence near the bottom stopped him cold. Designated as post-incident asset. No further recognition to be recorded. Reinstated clearance denied. Advised to remain inactive. What does that even mean? Post-incident asset? No commendation? He scrolled further. Only one field remained. Action record HR6. Under it, 6 names, all initials. No full IDs. No ranks, and a final note. Engagement window, 12 minutes. Shots fired 6, hits 6, lives saved unknown. Then in red, file frozen by operator request. Case not to be reopened. Morales leaned back in his chair. Harlan R. That was the man. He hadn't been delivering ammo. He'd been watching. Just like before. Still guarding the range. Still knowing which shots mattered, and which didn't need to be spoken of. The next Thursday, he didn't come. No blue truck. No crates. No nod. No silence. Just the echo of his absence. The recruits noticed. Even the loud ones. They didn't say it out loud, but the lane felt wrong. Like it hadn't been reset properly. Like the weight of something that used to be there was still hanging in the air. Chief Drenner arrived late. Walked the line once. Looked at the crates. All delivered. No signature again. Just the clipboard with the usual initials. HR. Morales waited. Waited through drill. Through lunch. Through cleanup. At 1700, he circled behind the storage shed near Range Bay 3. And found the rifle. Wrapped in a cloth case. Lay gently on the bench behind the old scoring table. No note. No lock. Just one thing beside it. A folded range card, hand-drawn. Wind charted by hand. Angles written in pen, not pencil. On the back, a line of text in tight block letters. If you're going to take the shot, remember who taught you not to. Morales unzipped the case. Same rifle. Same scratches in the bolt arm. Same worn patch under the cheek rest. Inside the magwell, a spent casing had been inserted backward. Not for storage. For symbolism. He pulled it out. Same etching. HR6. But this one had something else scratched beside it. Just 3 letters. JTW. He didn't recognize them. But the way the letters were carved, uneven, like done in the dark, told him what he needed. Someone lost. Someone remembered. And someone never let that memory get folded into a medal or a write-up. Back in the main building, Morales placed the rifle behind the desk, wrapped tight again. No one questioned it. But that night, the instructors didn't close the range like usual. They left lane 7 open. Single mat. No optics. Wind flags down. No one was assigned to it. And yet someone placed a single silhouette target at 600 yards. Blank. No score circles. No hit zones. Just presence. That morning, Morales returned to find the casing from the rifle placed dead center on the bench rest. And beneath it, folded once, the old delivery log. The last entry wasn't signed HR. Just 3 words. Target cleared. Retired. Morales didn't tell anyone about the casing, or the card, or the initials carved with a shaking hand. But he kept the range card, folded it once, slipped it into his breast pocket like it belonged there. Something about it felt heavier than the paper. Like it wasn't instructions, it was permission. That Saturday, he walked the range alone. Lane 7 was empty, but untouched. No brass on the gravel. The casing from earlier still rested on the bench, angled slightly toward the silhouette target that hadn't been pulled yet. It hadn't been hit. No holes. But when he walked downrange, he saw something strange. The wind chart was wrong. At least, it was wrong for him. It matched perfectly for someone prone at a slightly different height, someone lower to the ground. A shorter optic angle. Someone who didn't use a rear bag. Someone like Harlan. He looked back up the hill toward the bench. And understood. It hadn't been a missed shot. It had been restraint. That target wasn't for hitting. It was for waiting. For watching. For remembering. Later that week, a visiting officer from the East Coast came to observe drills. He was older, gray-streaked, sharp eyes, bars heavy with time. He stopped behind Morales as he checked Rifle 0. "You trained here?" the officer asked. "Still am, sir," Morales replied. The officer nodded, looked downrange, then said, "Used to be a guy here. Harlan, quiet. Never said a word in the debriefs. But every mission I came back from, if something didn't go wrong, he'd been there first." Morales kept his eyes on the scope. "I think he still is." The officer glanced at Lane 7, saw the folded casing, didn't touch it, just said, "Good. He never missed what mattered." That night, Morales stayed late, set his mat on Lane 7. No timer, no instructor, just one target, and the wind. He didn't fire. He didn't need to. He just looked through the scope until the wind slowed, then whispered, almost to himself, "Target not hostile. Hold shot." It showed up during quarterly rifle maintenance, just another scheduled teardown, every weapon cleaned, cataloged, and recertified. Morales was on inventory duty that day, sorting serials and checking optics for fogging. He wasn't supposed to open that case. The one wrapped in the green canvas sleeve, the one with no tag, the one that no one logged, but no one dared throw out either. But he opened it anyway. The rifle was exactly as it had been. The bolt-action Harlan used, the same scuffs on the scope housing, same cracked recoil pad, taped over once, long ago. Morales unscrewed the bolt to check internal corrosion. That's when he saw it. Inside the bolt channel, barely visible, almost absorbed into the matte steel, were 8 characters, hand-etched with what looked like a punch tool. JTW/HRL 312. He stared at it. Not just because of the names. Because of the time. 312? Same as the archive note. Same as the mission record from Kandahar. Same as the classified file that froze when he searched Harlan's initials. The moment something changed. He checked the barrel, slowly, respectfully. Inside the inner lip of the muzzle brake, one more line had been scratched by hand. "This rifle owes a life." No drama. No blame. Just truth kept where no one would ever look, unless they cared enough to feel it. Morales sat on the bench with the bolt still in his hand. Outside, wind pulled across the gravel. The firing line was empty, the flags quiet. But in that silence, he understood something he hadn't before. It wasn't about missing. It was about carrying. The shot you didn't take. The one you couldn't. The one that someone else paid for. And how, even decades later, you bring that weight to the bench, without ever needing to say it. Morales reassembled the rifle, wiped it clean, and placed it back in the sleeve with care. Then, without thinking, he added one thing. A note. Folded once, taped under the lid. No name. Just a line. "Rifle inspected. Rifle remembered." He closed the case, and left it where it had always been, waiting. It started as nothing. Just a glint on the bench. Lane 7 had been in use that morning. No scheduled drills. No checked-up mats. No name on the dry erase board. But when Morales passed by after lunch, something caught the light. He stopped. A coin. Small. Not official. Worn brass, dulled at the edges. No rank. No unit. No ceremony. One side, a trident. The other, an hourglass, barely visible, etched so faint it seemed like it was meant to disappear over time. Morales didn't pick it up. He just looked around. No one in sight. The truck hadn't returned. No deliveries that week. Harlan hadn't been seen in over a month. He walked to Chief Drenner's office and placed the coin on the desk. Drenner didn't look surprised. He just nodded once and slid it back. "That's not mine. Was it ever?" Morales asked. Drenner leaned back in his chair. "He gave one out. One time. Before he left the teams." "To who?" Chief didn't answer right away. Then, "To the one who saw what he didn't say." Morales left the coin where it was. That night, a young recruit, just weeks into Phase 1, asked if he could shoot early. Said he needed the extra time. Morales assigned him Lane 7. Didn't explain. Just nodded and handed him the key. He watched from the tower. The recruit took his time. Nervous at first, then steady. 5 rounds, grouped. Not perfect, but intentional. And when he left, Morales checked the bench. The coin was gone. In its place, a folded patch. No name. Just one word stitched in black. Hold. Weeks passed. The instructors didn't ask about the coin. But somehow, it always returned. Sometimes on a mat. Sometimes taped under the rifle rack. And always, on lane 7. That's when Morales understood. It wasn't a gift. It was a burden. Passed quietly. To those who didn't need to speak. Just hold. And wait. And never fire unless it truly mattered. Years later, Morales stood alone at the range. Ranked now. More older. Less talk. He ran instructions sometimes, but mostly he watched. Lane 7 stayed open. No one scheduled it. But somehow, someone always showed. Not every week. Not the same face. But always the same posture. Low to the mat. Eyes steady, not rushing the shot. They never fired fast. Sometimes not at all. The brass plaque on the bench had been added quietly. No ceremony. No ribbon. Just a line etched deep. For the shot you held. No name. Harlan wouldn't have wanted one. Morales kept the original rifle locked in a case under the tower. Logged as Legacy Instruction Asset. Unnumbered. Unclaimed. But one detail had changed. Inside the bolt, along the original carving, he'd added his own mark, not initials. Just a symbol. Hourglass. Legacy, not name. One morning, Morales walked the line before sunrise, flag still slack, wind barely moving. And on lane 7, already in place, a single silhouette. No holes. No notes. But tucked behind it, taped to the back, folded twice, a single round. Unfired. Clean brass. On the base. HR6. And next to it, carved fresh. JTW1. Morales didn't ask who left it. He didn't have to. He walked back to the bench, laid out his mat, and didn't load a thing. He just watched the wind, held his breath, and remembered. The man who never signed in. The file that never opened. The coin that never needed explanation. The shot that never had to be taken. Legacy wasn't about what you did. It was about what you carried, and left quietly behind, for someone else to understand.